The annual Yushu Schools Festival is held in the playground next to the new buildings built thanks to ROKPA Association support. Both children and adults sing and dance celebrating ROKPA's founder's annual visit with the aim of checking the performance of the project. While the performers in the center illuminate the festival, we can see, hanging on the classroom walls, different kinds of medicinal herbs, which are collected and studied in this medicine school and later will be turned into pills and used for healing future patients. The town of Yushu, unattached from the festival, keeps its daily bustle. Progress has also reached this place, as this sole advertising board proves, in a town surrounded by mountains and which is growing day by day. Along the southern road, we make our way to visit another school subsidized by ROKPA. Taxi means welcome, and this is the reception the students give us. The authorities and village people greet Akong Rinpoche. On the floor, auspicious signs have been drawn with flour. At the entrance, fragrant herbs are burnt. Classrooms and accommodation facilities are waiting with open doors for the project inspection. Chao Dag primary school pupils are queuing in their most splendid outfits to present the welcoming katas to Rinpoche. Although the sunny valley landscape has turned into a cold white mountain scene, the same situation is repeated in another school. The students, teaching staff and local authorities also present their welcoming katas. The trip goes on visiting another school for secondary and higher education. Textbooks and notebooks written in the Tibetan language are examined. Pupils remain attentive to one of the teacher's summary about how the present course has gone. ROKPA's founder, as in each visit, encourages them to exert themselves in their studies. The trip continues through the rural area. Some village people go along with him from their town to the next one. Rinpoche travels for several months each year to 100 or so projects which are subsidized by ROKPA, checking their performance targets and handing over the funds which will cover each school's budget. The new students await their turn while the local authority seals the receipt for the funds which is delivered to the school secretary. From the small villages and nomadic hamlets of the region, this new group of students has come, some of them accompanied by their relatives, others on their own. Some of them with only enough time to change their old tattered shoes for a pair in better condition. The teacher steps back a little, as if ashamed of our filming the scene. Meanwhile, in the tent, the person in charge of this project signs the document previously sealed by the local authority and thus acknowledges the funds received. At last, the great moment comes for these little ones who are welcomed by Rinpoche with a kata and their card. Going to school implies a big change in their lives. No longer will they have to beg, collect firewood, bring water, or take care of the animals. For the next 12 years, they will be safe and warm. With the other students and teaching staff, they will learn how to read and write, and they will be able to study. The school is humble. Its walls are peeling, and a couple of heaters warm up the dormitory. But for them, these are luxuries they could never have dreamt of reaching before. And nowadays, it's a dream come true, thanks to your help. The trip journey goes on, ascending the highest mountains in the world. People from the small villages hasten to meet the committee. On rare occasions, someone turns up to call on these scattered rural communities located over 5,000 meters up, where life seems to have stood still for centuries. An intense cold and snowstorms are the usual traveling companions around these latitudes, and from which Rinpoche tries to take shelter under his furs during his months-long visit to these 100 or so projects set up by ROKPA in Tibet. From nearby hamlets, hundreds of Tibetans have come with a common purpose and a shared hope. Present their respects to this man and request help for their children and families. The news of his arrival has spread by word of mouth, and whole families have set out to be here today. Old men, adults and children, representatives of this ancestral town, for whom sticking out one's tongue is a sign of greeting. Some of them offer money to Rinpoche. In a community where the exchange of services for basic goods is common practice, money is a luxury, only accessible to a minority, but it's still essential to build the schools and hospitals they require. Each and every member of these families show their welcoming kata and receive their respective blessing. Perhaps this year a new school will be opened in the area. Or maybe these schoolboys and girls will be admitted to some boarding school in the region. There will certainly be some helping hands missing at home, but that will also mean someone less to be fed, and the possibility for at least one young man in each hamlet to be able to study. That's an opportunity that the whole community will benefit from. They will have a teacher or a doctor, someone who can read and write and teach them. Literacy figures for the Tibetan population are 38% for men and 13% for women. The infant death rate is 147 out of 1,000 births, and according to the World Bank, the annual per capita income is just $120. So a good jacket, even if coming from the Chinese army, comes in very handy. Rinpoche's gloved hand goes on giving out blessings. For more than 2 hours, in sub-zero temperatures, nomads and farmers inhabiting the region will file past this tent. They have put on their most precious jewelry and their traditional everyday dress called chuba. Their heads are decorated with big pieces of amber, turquoise and corals. They go down on their knees, showing their respect in front of this man, also a Tibetan, who returns every year to help his people. A town cut off from the world which is suffering the consequences of progress. Climatic changes and massive deforestation are causing floods and natural disasters in these parts. without them knowing or being able to do anything about it. They don't know, but we do. They can't avoid it, but we can. With your help, giving but a modest fraction of the big amounts that we have, many things can be improved. If we help these children to receive an education, we will be contributing to a fairer world. To keep a child at boarding school costs less than 80 cents a day. For us, that's scarcely the price of a cup of coffee. For them, an opportunity to learn their language, to grow up healthy, to study a profession that will enable them to have a decent future and to help their peers. For their families, it's a dream come true, a dream which without your help would never have become true. For us, it's a pleasure to know that thousands of miles away from our comfortable environment, an isolated mountain village is receiving our help. In the name of the Tibetan people, we thank you for your kind solidarity.